That's what I'm talking about. All right. Welcome to Fantasy Dad Duo. I'm Jack. This is my partner in crime, Jeff Sitz.
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing
guys?
today, brother?
Dude, I'm healing. I'm on the mend. I had a sinus infection. It's still there's a little bit in there still. I had a sinus infection this weekend while I was alone watching my daughter, and the wife was on 2 12-hour shifts. Man, that'll make a man out of you, like Mulan. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. That is a tough break. A little bit of Corona to soothe the throat, and we are off, Jeffy boy.
A little bit of lubrication, and we're good to go, brother.
Although, unfortunately, I think singing's off the table for you today. I'm gonna get you to do it one of these episodes. You know, it is what it is. I'll keep trying. It must actually be like feel pretty good to be a good singer, like with a daughter. Like I'm a terrible singer, and I have to sing like seven million nursery rhymes a day.
It
I'm
makes
like,
it makes nursery rhymes very easy. It makes it so much fun because I'll tell you what, though, there are some times where she stares at me and I'm like, damn, she's judging me hard right now. You know these songs way too well, Dad. All right. Sorry, I apologize.
you know, as I'm singing those songs, sometimes I like think about them, and I'm like, this song is fucked up. Like Rockabye Baby. It's like there's a baby in a tree and it falls. It's like,
Dude, I was
Jesus, man.
just singing that song to her to try to get her to sleep tonight, just like maybe 20 minutes ago. And I was like, and for some reason, the baby and everything else falls. Like, I don't understand why. I got to look up. We have to at some point, maybe on this podcast, maybe not. We have to look up the background to some of these fucking songs, some of these nursery rhymes, because you don't notice or like hear how fucked up they are until you start singing them to your own kids.
Some of them are crazy, man. Okay. So today's podcast, we're going to do hot takes. We're going to cover some fantasy cheat codes. We're going to break down our own dynasty drafts. So we'll go through some of the picks we made in the draft that just finished for our dynasty league. But let's start off with some hot takes. You know, it wouldn't be right, Jeff, if I started the show off with any other team but my New Orleans Saints. So save this clip, Jeff. Clip this, so we could bring it back at the end of the season. The Saints are the Patriots of 2026. They have the second easiest schedule. So they have cupcake schedule all the way through. They've taken big steps in every position group. Jordan Tyson they added, Trevor Etienne they added, Tyler Shuck is going to put on a show when he takes the next step. And then I love Kellen Moore. So tell me about what makes me wrong about these Saints. And granted, this is a hot take. So, you know, I'm only halfway in.
What makes you wrong? Tyler hasn't proven himself yet.
Well, that's true, but he showed real signs last year, Jeff.
And you have written here Trevor Etienne, but you mean Travis Etienne.
Oh, don't call me out on the notes, Jeff.
Calling you out on the fucking notes, brother. I read it. I did a quick skim earlier and was like, I'll give him until, and I gave it, and I got to call you out now. But so I will say this. I think their offense is good. I don't think they've had the pieces that they've needed long enough to do what the Pats did last year. Now, that being said, I don't know if your boy Tyler is better than Drake May. And that tastes like shit coming out of my mouth because I fucking hate Drake May. Can't stand him. Get him out of here. Make him a dinosaur. Make it happen quickly. I'm at the point with I guess we could say younger teams. Does that sound correct?
They have a young offense. Their defense is old as shit, but
Right,
their offense is young. Their offense is young.
I'll say younger teams just as like a general term. Then I'm not at the point where I think these younger teams are actually like top top tier teams. They're just not. They're not all proving it yet because yes, Pats were a relatively younger team last year and they made it to the Super Bowl, but it was because of that cupcake schedule and yada yada yada, all the other bullshit that I've been spewing for the last couple of weeks. But I I don't know. I mean, I like the Saints. I liked watching them win a Super Bowl before. It's been a long fucking time. They used to make the playoffs every fucking year, and they've kind of been tripping over their own shoelaces these past couple of seasons. And by past couple of seasons, I mean like what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, at least they've been pretty rough since Breeze left. They had a couple
I
years
would
with
like to
Carr
see
in
them
there,
make
but
it. I'd like to see them make it to at least the playoffs with an underdog, like Tyler. Last name Shu, correct?
Shuck.
Shuck.
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck. That will not be the first time I fuck up his name.
Yeah, there's obviously major questions with this team, right? It's like
I mean, he's proven that he can play. This is going to sound ridiculous. He's proven that he can play football.
he actually, in a lot of ways, he like kind of reminds me of Drake May. He's got the big arm.
Don't make me hate him. Don't do that. Why?
Well,
It's so early. We're not even 10 minutes in yet. What the fuck, dude?
he kind of reminds. Okay, fine. I'll change it to somebody else. He kind of reminds me of. No, it's Drake May. Drake May is
Stick
who he
with
reminds
Drake
me
May.
of.
Why? Why does he remind you of Drake May?
Because he's got like he's like a big physical athlete. He's not super fast, but he could use his legs when he needs to. He's got the big arm. He's in his second year, which is when Drake May broke out, and he's got that easy schedule. But it's the big arm. It's the physical running where it's like he doesn't need a huge volume. He's not going to rip you off for 50 yards, but he'll run over a D back. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like, don't expect him to run for 600 yards. Expect 350. But he's got the tools to fit into a good offense, and he's got some great weapons. I mean, we all like Olave, we all like Jordan Tyson,
Hard not to.
we like Juwan Johnson, we like Travis Etienne, we like Oscar Delp, we like Bryce.
God,
We
love
like
Oscar
we
Delp.
like
Go
Bryce
Dogs.
Lance. Bryce Lance's brother, or what's his name? Is it
Trey?
Bryce Lance? Trey Lance's brother.
Trey Lance's brother, Bryce Lance. Yes.
Bryce Lance. We
I
like
snagged
it.
him.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that later. But we love the weapons. I love the coach.
Dude, Kellen
I
Moore
love
is
the
hard
schedule.
not to like. Kellen Moore is hard not to like. Even when he played football and he was a nobody.
Yeah,
It's hard not to like him. In his career, I probably saw him go in 5 times that I can think of, maybe 3 times that I can think of, and you don't not like him. I've never heard somebody say that they fucking hate Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and he has a track record. He did it with the Cowboys. When he was the OC with the Cowboys, they had the best offense in football. So he knows what he's doing. All right, so let's move on. Since Jeff is a hot take machine, since it's basically what he does on a day-to-day basis, he decided to come into this podcast cold, like a freaking lunatic. So, Jeff, I want to hear a hot take about your New York Football Giants.
Hot take: New York Giants, 2,500 rushing yards this season.
Oh, okay. So you're saying they're going to absolutely pound the rock this year?
Scatterboo stays healthy. Tracy stays healthy and doesn't fumble the ball.
Okay.
And then Jackson Dart runs for 800 yards this year.
800 yards. My goodness. So let's, since you, like you said, you came in ice cold, let's see where 2,500 yards would be in last year's total offensive output. Guess how many teams rushed for more than 2,500 yards last year, Jeff?
Out of the 32?
Yeah. And if you get both of them,
You
I'll
just said
give.
guess how many teams. So now I know that there's only 2 teams that did
Oh,
it.
shit.
Now you want me to guess which teams?
Mother. Jeff, I'm tired. All right. I'm a dad. Okay. 2 teams
good.
did it.
That was good. That was a mind fuck. Holy shit.
2
So
teams did it, Jeff.
which 2 teams? You want me to
Which
guess
2
which 2
teams? Which
teams?
2 teams?
Which 2 teams did it last year? Normally I would say the Ravens, but it wasn't the Ravens. Let's go with fuck. Let's go with the Lions
Okay.
and I'll say well fuck, there's going to be somebody after the Lions and the Broncos. No,
All
the
right.
Lions and the Bills. Lions and the Bills, final answer.
Okay. You got the Bills.
Okay.
That's a good one. And you second guessed yourself. Ravens.
Oh, really? They did
Yeah.
get over 2,500 last year?
Yep. They did it. So it was Bills with 27, Ravens with 26, and Bears with
Motherfucker.
24. Believe it or not.
Oh, dude, Bears. We'll talk about it after, but I'm hearing some. I heard. I got one of my favorite part timers at work came back this week, and he told me today he thinks Caleb is getting that fucking MVP this year.
Well, let's talk about Scadaboo real quick.
We'll talk about Scadaboo.
If Scadaboo stays healthy for a whole season, which
1,000 yards.
He puts his head down, runs into brick walls. So
1,000 rushing yards if he stays healthy the whole season. Look at what he did in college. And I'm the first guy to talk shit about guys that are coming out of college, but he was a fucking animal in college. And granted, this year, top 2 running backs that went in our fucking dynasty draft, which we will talk again later, that went 1-2 was Love and Price. So obviously there's guys that come out of college that are running backs that look very, very nice. That being said, he went in the fucking 5th round of the NFL draft when he came out.
Yeah, and I hate when running backs go late, but he freaking proved himself. I think that guy could, he's going to be one of those players that the more you give him the ball, the better he gets. And if they give him the ball 25 times a game, which is possible, he could have 13, 1,400 yards. That's a high-end outcome, but
the way that I was thinking about it is because the Giants like to toss. Is Gray still on the? He's still on the Giants, isn't he?
Gray.
That other backup running back, isn't his name Gray?
They have Singletary.
Who's the one behind him?
Oh God, behind Singletary? I don't know.
Don't forget last year they had a lot of fucking injuries on that line. That backfield. Yeah. I want to say one of their names is Gray.
So just for reference, and we'll see what this is coming out to. I actually have them statted for 2,400 rushing yards as a team.
Well, if you do 8, 8, and 8 with Dart, Scadaboo, and Tracy,
I have 600 for Dart. I have just over 1,000 for Scadaboo, and I have 500 for Tracy. So I'm in on them running the ball a lot. It's possible.
All right, so say those numbers again.
So I have 600 for Dart, just over 1,000 for Scadaboo, and 500 for Tracy.
Toss in Singletary.
280 for Singletary. That brings you to 2,400.
I think this guy's last name. I want to say his name is Gray.
Well, Jeff, let's check some tape.
He did pretty well last year too. I can't. Why am I fucking drunk?
Eric Gray.
Gray. That's the fucking guy I'm talking about. Give him 150. Give him 150.
So that'll put him at 2,500. I stat these things like nobody gets hurt. So that's why he is 0. If one of those guys goes down, like if Singletary goes down, Gray will get those yards, so it'll take out of the 280. So Um, I don't have them quite that electric, but I have them right up there. I think they're going to want to
I
run the
do
ball.
think I have a feeling they're gonna. We were talking. I'll say today at work as well. They were asking me what I thought the Giants were gonna do, and I put them on. I had them statted out at 9-8. I said 9-8, 8-9, but I do think their offense is gonna have some pretty high stats. And if Neighbors is there, it might. Well, if Neighbors is there, it will take away from the rushing yards they get. But I'll put them at 2,500. Put my name on it.
All right, all right. I'm writing that down so we could come back to it.
I'll give you another stat too if you want it.
Let's hear it.
1,200 yards for tight ends.
1,200 yards for tight ends. If Neighbors is not there, that's a real possibility.
Even if Neighbors is there, they can do 600 and 600.
You start getting into they can because if they decide to do a lot of 2 tight end sets, it's possible. I mean, I could see Likely getting 800. I could see Theo Johnson getting 400. I could see a more even split between them. So they have 2 really good tight ends. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. That's a good prediction, Jeff.
That's the happy prediction of mine, because if I end up being right on that, that's a hard dick, brother.
If you're if you're right on both of those, Giants make the playoffs.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You can go 9-8 and have stats like that. You can.
Yeah, with the worst defense in the league.
Now, this is how fucked up the NFL is sometimes. You can go 9-8 in the NFC East and make it to the fucking Super Bowl.
The Giants have done it before.
9-7, win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I'm just saying you could do it.
Hey, you just got to get in. You just got to get into the playoffs, right? All right, so here's my next take. Here's a take that's going to make Bills fans, Ravens fans, and Patriots fans a little mad. None of these superstar quarterbacks are playing deep into January. I see all 3 of them getting bounced in the first or second round. And that's just because I'm putting my eggs in the baskets of teams like the Bengals, Jags, Broncos, Chargers. I don't see the Bills and Ravens as complete rosters. And the Patriots, I think they're just due for some regression. So let's hear it, Jeff. What do you think about that?
I think the Patriots are going to have to go a little bit back to the drawing board, because they're going to get learnt this year. I think people are going to teach them a little something. I think has brand excuse me, brand new coaches coming on to big, I mean, you got to say it like this, to a big top tier football team like the Ravens. Harbaugh brought those fuckers up. Again, they were brought up before he brought them up again. Granted, Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, no Super Bowls. They had some great teams. They have a great quarterback. He could do a lot of great things. 3 great things right there. Great team, great quarterback. He does great things. It's all fucking amazing. Never won a Super Bowl. So the way that you could talk about that is Lamar Jackson. Great fantasy fucking quarterback.
Great.
Amazing. NFL hasn't done shit. Never won a Super Bowl. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
New coach gets right behind him, pushes him all the fucking way. You never know. I mean, has it been done before? Brand new coach coming in?
Oh yeah. I don't know off the top of my head, but let's see.
I mean, Vrabel technically just did it, didn't he?
4 head coaches in NFL history have won a Super Bowl during their first season with the franchise. Don McCaffrey, George Seifert, John Gruden, baby, with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Gary Kubiak with the Broncos in that Peyton Manning season. So it's been done 4 times, so it's not unprecedented.
Did Vrabel was that his first season last year with the Pats?
I don't think so. I think it was the second, right?
The second season?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, brand new coach behind a great quarterback. He could push him all the way. Clearly, like you said, it's been done 4 times before, and one of them is more recent history. Um, I Josh Allen is he's another one, brand new coach. He's due.
He's so due, and yeah,
He's due. And you could say the same thing about Lamar. See, this is what I hate about this. The thing that I hate about hot takes like this is that those two fucking quarterbacks are so great, and they're that goddamn word. They're just they're the top tier of the game. They're where every other team is trying to get their main guy, the guy that controls their offense. They want them not mirror image, but they want them to be on the same level as those two guys. It pains me to say that we're not going to see those guys where we want to see them. I mean, granted, if Lamar Jackson wins, there's going to be a lot of people, my wife included, Steelers fans, that are like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did the Ravens win? But Lamar Jackson, he deserves it. Josh Allen deserves it. They're just two of those guys that you're like, MVPs, how do they not have a fucking Super Bowl? It's just very pains
one of
me to
my
say it, but
I'm going to step on the soapbox for a second here. One of my recent sort of opinions about high-end quarterbacks is, unless you are like a generational superstar like Patrick Mahomes, it becomes so hard to win a Super Bowl once you get that mega contract. And there's just so many examples of it, right? It's like, look at the last few Super Bowl champions. It's Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold's not making a crazy amount of money. It's Jalen Hurts. He's not making, Josh Allen money. And then it's Mahomes. So, okay, there's that generational quarterback. It's Matt Stafford, who at that point wasn't making, top of the line money, but he was making a lot of money.
You could call him big money. He's big
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. I guess he was. But Tom Brady before that, who is known to take a pay cut. Then it's Patrick Mahomes, and also generational. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady,
generational.
Nick Foles.
He's all time.
Tom
Just call him
Brady.
all time.
Yeah, I mean the GOAT. We get it. He's the GOAT. But anyways, you look at those winners, and it's like the only big money quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes and we'll say Matt Stafford. And so it's like it's hard to win as that mega contract because the roster around you just suffers. I mean, if you're making $60 million, that's like 3 Myles Garrett's. It's you just lose so much, like, all over the roster paying a quarterback $60 million, which they deserve it. Don't get me wrong, but it just makes it hard to win. You got to draft so perfectly. You got to do so many other things right. And that's what Josh Allen and the Bills and Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are looking at.
I mean, excuse me, when you put it like that, Jesus.
I mean, you could say the same thing about some other teams. You could say the same thing about the Bengals.
You could.
Right?
It just hurts. I mean, the Bengals, dude, drafting is not their only fucking issue.
Yeah, they got a lot of issues. Yeah.
Jesus, dude. They got Sexy Dexy. That's great. But it's possible MVP every year if he's healthy. Joe Burrow. Their offense is tight. Their defense is Swiss cheese. I'm not. Every time we talk about the fucking Bengals, my head is like all over the place because I can't keep thinking about the same things. They're like, oh, we could score 45 points a game. We're going to be the greatest fucking offensive team this year, and everyone's going to love us. And then they're going to give up 45 points a game because they lost their fucking defense. Their defensive head seems like it left like 4 years ago.
Jeff, 30% of their salary cap, 30% goes to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. how are you supposed to build a team? You know what I mean? How are you supposed to build a team?
Well, you got. See, this is where you and I got into an argument when we were watching the NFL draft with Shawnee. We got into the argument that anybody that gets drafted after that 4th or 5th round, it does not matter the fucking position. They're nobodies, right? That was a loud noise. They're nobodies. So we can call it what. All right, so let's
They're
sit
not
on that.
nobodies. The hit rate just goes way down.
But we'll call them. So we'll sit on that. Well, the hit rate goes down with them. Most of that would still make most of them end up being nobodies. But with the nobodies, you need to fill your fucking roster. You need a bench crew. You need the guys that are there to go in, and it's still talent. They made it to the NFL. They're in the draft. They're there for a reason, right?
Right, but you look at Super Bowl champion teams, and Super Bowl champion teams have their roster built with first and second rounders. You could make as many arguments as you want to if that's true or not true, but like the Seahawks hit on like 3 or 4 years in a row of first and second rounders, and they won a Super Bowl. You know, it wasn't the 5th round, it wasn't the 6th round that they hit on. It was those stud high end players. You know, they're the players who get 12 sacks in a season. They're the players who throw for 5,000 yards. They're the players who catch 10 touchdowns. Are there exceptions? Are there exceptions? Absolutely.
Okay, that's where I was going to come in and ask. Are we saying that there's never been a team that's
Tom Brady, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson? You know, you could.
Well, that's not even just. I'm not even just saying one player here and there. I'm just saying overall, if you've got the coaching staff that can build from what they have there, that's like, I mean, not to say this, but it's like the Moneyball system with the Oakland A's. You go from a team that has all these fucking heavy hitters on it, and you're winning 90 games a season for 3 or 4 years in a row. Then you've got that one season where you lose everybody, and you're like, holy fuck, we don't have Jason Giambi anymore. Who are we going to get? Oh, we'll get Jeremy Giambi, his nobody brother that has a drinking problem and a gambling issue, who's still a great baseball player, but we have to pay him. Oh, I want to say it was like fucking MLB minimum at the time, almost minimum. They got 102 wins. They made it to the fucking playoffs. They didn't win, but I do think if you have the right coaching staff and your scouts know what they're fucking doing, you can build a team. And I want nobodies is the wrong way to say it, because these guys aren't nobodies. They played in college. They're making it to the fucking draft. They're in the NFL. They're all there for a reason. Practice squad or not, it doesn't matter. That you can build a fucking team off of those guys that don't have that like higher quality finesse that makes them get in that first, second, or third round.
Yeah. You know, and this is what you're saying is the exact reason why NFL teams give chances to players who looked explosive in college but tore both ACLs. You know, it's the exact reason why they're drafting players with domestic abuse backgrounds. You know, they need to hit these on these late round picks because you know you need to find value where you could get it. So it's you know it's just hard to do it. They're the examples of those players are few and far between compared to
it's hard
rounders.
To do it now too.
It is what it is.
Getting the value when and where you can get it. That's not what a lot of these guys are looking for anymore. What's that movie with Kevin Costner and the Browns?
Draft Day.
That's if every single team had somebody that drafted like that on draft day. Number one, everybody would watch.
Hell yeah.
Everybody would watch. The NFL would make so much money off of people. Just, oh my dude. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of confidence that these guys need when they go through the draft day to build off of those 4th, 5th, and 6th round guys that are just there for like the bodies that you need to fill out your roster. But the value is also there because your depth is getting built on with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Jeff, I want a hot take from you, and I'll give you a prompt. You want a prompt, or are you going to pull one out?
I'm gonna go rooting by a shell tootin'. Rooting for by a
Okay.
shell tootin'. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
He's gonna be way more successful on the ground than everybody thinks he is. I'm giving him 1,000 yards, 1,100
Oh,
yards this year.
all right. Get spicy for Jeffy. Come on, give me something more. 1,000 yards. Give me something more.
Something more.
These are hot takes, Jeff. I want something spicy.
All right, rooting for Biashal Tootin. We'll go 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 500 reception yards.
All right. That you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is guaranteeing an RB1 finish for Baishal Tootin. So tell me about how he's going to get there. I know it's a hot take. I know that's not what you're actually saying.
I mean, he's proven. So I went high on him last year. Because I believed in Biashal Tootin, and I still believe in Biashal Tootin, and I think he's on the right team to fucking do it. And now that he doesn't really have many obstacles in his way, because your boy Travis Etienne went to the Saints,
Yep.
and I think it proved last year that Trevor Lawrence does have faith in him, because when he started last season, there was a couple of one or two starts, maybe 3 last year.
I don't think they were technically starts, but he had a few games where he had like 15 carries.
So in those games, Trevor Lawrence showed more faith in him than the fucknut that was on the Raiders showed in Gene T. So all season long, too. You can quote me on that one. Actually, you know what? We'll put my boy rooting for Biashal Tootin aside, and we'll say that the Jets have the least amount of rushing yards in the AFC East this year.
My God, that was just a complete pump fake. Screw Baishal onto the Jets. So
no, not screw Biashal. Screw the fucking quarterback that went back to the Jets, because for some fucking reason, you know what? We got a good friend of ours. He just married my wife and I for the second time. Huge Jets fan. I'm not trying to fucking shit on the Jets, but why the fuck would you pick him up after the downtrodden year he had with the Raiders? And it wasn't even the Raiders' fault. The Raiders gave him a piece. Gene T was the piece. I don't give a fuck if he's just your running back. That's your piece that helps you build on what they're giving you to run with. He had Bowers.
You know what? Maybe the Jets saw Geno Smith and said, "This guy is so bad that he's going to guarantee us the first overall pick," because he was terrible. I mean, he was.
I hope their fucking rookie just comes out of nowhere and fucking.
Who is their rookie? They grabbed not Aller, not Beck. They grabbed
Klubnik.
Cade Klubnik. Yep. Look, is Cade Klubnik the answer? Probably not.
No, but
Geno the answer?
I think
definitely not.
I think he starts between game 5 and game 10. I think he'll be starting by that time.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's totally possible. I mean, the Jets are a dumpster fire. If they have the least rushing yards in the AFC East, if they're bottom half of the league in rushing yards, they are going to be the worst team in the league, because that's the only piece of that offense I have any faith in.
I
don't even think it's a hot take, though.
The only piece of the offense you have any faith in is their defense.
No, is there rushing? Is there rushing? Did I say defense?
No, you didn't. I said defense, because that's the only piece of their offense I have any faith in is their defense.
And I have no faith in their defense either. Back to Baishal Tootin real quick.
Back to rooting for Tootin.
Rooting for Baishal Tootin.
We talk about
if he gets the stranglehold on that offense, which is possible, because Chris Rodriguez is nothing special.
There's a lot of just the stranglehold on that offense. There's a lot of targets out there that Trevor Lawrence could throw to. And there's a lot of targets out there that, if they have the year of their life, could get over 1,000, 1,100 receiving yards. It would not be that hard. The two of them that come to mind right off the rip are definitely BTJ and Parker Washington. Now, do I think that that is going to happen for more than one guy on that receiving uh, team that they have? No, I don't. I think it's going to happen for one guy and one guy only, but I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are riddled in between 500 and 1,000, just because of the fact that Trevor Lawrence threw like a fucking maniac last year, and I think he's going to do the exact same thing this season. So I'd like to see Byashal Tootin go for 1,200. I want to see him. I think, what did I say, 1,100? No, 1,200 with 11 touchdowns. That's what I said.
Yep.
I'd like to see him hit that 1,200 mark, and I think he can do it because he's one of those. He's like a scatteraboo, but the key difference is that he's got more movement in the way that he runs the ball. Instead of just truck sticking and going straight through everybody, which isn't a problem, the quickest way to get where you want to go is going straight for it. He's got that truck stick capability, going back to those Madden days. But he also has a little bit of that gyration and a little bit of the all in the hips movement.
Yep.
And he can move around others while running through the people that are right in front of him, which is what you want with a running back of his size and his capabilities.
He's an absolute freak athlete.
And he's got some hands.
Yeah. I mean, my lasting impression of him is being clearly the fastest running back during the NFL Combine. He was lightning quick, looked like he had good hands, great straight line speed.
Yeah.
Look,
Yep.
Etienne had 1,100 rushing yards last year. He had 300 yards receiving, 7 rushing touchdowns, 6 receiving touchdowns. He was dominant. And that team was giving Byshal Tootin red zone carries. So they had this great back, and they were giving their rookie red zone carries. I think he could hold on to that role. I think he could take the ETN role.
Well, that also shows that they had belief in him early on, which is a good thing for what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely. So again, it was a hot take. I got some big stats out of you, but I think it's totally possible. I think Byshal Tootin is, for me, the most likely RB2 to become an RB1. Drafted as RB2 to become an RB1. He is, he could be the lead back in a great offense. So why wouldn't you buy? All right. Let's move on to fantasy cheat codes. And I'll kick it off. My first fantasy cheat code is more of a philosophical one than like a player-based one. And that's trying to identify players who are likely to break down and flipping them for players who are likely to get stronger as the year goes on. A perfect example is trading a bruising back for a shifty receiving one. Last year, JT was the hotness. He was considered the best back in the league. He breaks down every year. And if you could have traded him for a Gibbs or a Bijan when he was red hot, you should have. So I think you could trade like a Jaden Daniels for a Dak Prescott and a piece. Things like that. It's like take these fragile players who are likely to break down, trade them for steady pieces, or just draft the steady piece over the one who's likely to break down. So that's the piece of advice I'm going to give. You don't want these players who are taking punishment all year unless their name is Derrick Henry.
Well, and now with his age on the up and up, he may not even be the bruiser that he was. I mean, granted, he's probably going to be the bruiser that he was because he proved it last year and the year before. So,
and the year before, and the year before.
Yeah, and the year before, and the year before, and the Titans and the Ravens and the Titans and the Ravens. He's tried and true with that guy. The only thing that I can say about that is if you're gonna, so now, and I'm gonna go off of one of the trades that you came out with. You said Jaden Daniels for Dak Prescott and a piece, correct? Those are the words
Yeah, oh,
that you
yeah.
used. That could blow back on you because Dak Prescott is also known for being one of those guys that can deplete if he's on one of his injured seasons.
Okay, I'll give an easier example than Jared Goff.
Okay, yeah, somebody who's steady, and can get you there is what you're
Yep,
saying.
yep. So somebody who will
When
produce
thinking
but isn't
when thinking
sexy.
about fantasy, you want that guy. So, and I'll use quarterbacks as the main example. If it's going to be somebody who's steady, it's going to be somebody who's getting you that 17, 18 plus points every single week, and it's direct across the board, and it doesn't stop. But it can't be one of those big name guys. You're not talking about the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Matt Staffords, the Drake Mays, the Caleb Williams. You're not talking about those guys. You're talking about people that are like, well, you
Jared
can't even say that.
Goff, Dak Prescott,
I was
Matt
gonna say
Stafford.
like the guys who were under the radar, like the Kirk Cousins when he was on the Vikings, like those guys that are that steady piece that's gonna keep pushing forward for you. That's what you want right now. The guy that I would say it could be one of those guys is like a Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is a great one. It's again, he's like under that radar. He's gonna throw for 4,400 yards, something like that.
And if you're in a 2 quarterback league like ours, he sometimes falls in the draft. He
Oh
does.
yeah, oh
He
yeah.
falls in the draft a lot, and he's not a bad fantasy quarterback. Like
He's ranked as QB 22 right now.
So you see, he's going to drop.
He's deep. I mean, guys like Baker fall. A lot of these like steady players. So it's like, it does the sexy name Jaden Daniels sometimes put up 40 points and win you a week? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he'll put up a stinker, or then he'll, pull a hammy because he's like not built to take the punishment. So I
really
like the
hope he
boring
doesn't.
players.
I hope he doesn't RG3 it, but
I know I like him. He's fun to watch. So I hope he stays healthy. So we basically went right into my next fantasy cheat code, and that's taking boring players for discounts. So I like look, you need some exciting players, right? You need some to give your team some juice and to make watching football fun.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. I do agree.
But it's like you could grab like a tight end like Kelsey or Mark Andrews, or let's say
AJ
George.
Barner.
Yeah, AJ Barner. It's a great example. You could grab one of those for late. If you miss out on those top three guys,
you could snag him late. He might not even. There's some leagues where people will probably just forget about that man.
you could not draft a tight end and pick him up off waivers.
Who's that? I call him old. He's not old, but who's the older tight end that was on the Cowboys for all those years?
Witten.
Oh my God. You want to talk about tried and true, steady, usually he drops in the draft. I would pick him up off of free agency every once in a while, and he's just a steady 5 to 10 points every week.
We could just run down the line of reliable tight ends that I've had over the years that I love. We're talking Dallas Clark on the Steelers. Dallas Clark with Peyton Manning. We're talking Dennis Pitta with Joe Flacco. There are so many. Hunter Henry with Phil Rivers, and there are so many just reliable tight ends that you could just count on that you never have to pay for. So people are drafting Gronk in the first round, Jimmy Graham in the first round, Tony Gonzalez, and that's great.
Who was the tight end that the Bengals had before Burrow with
Tyler Eifert?
I don't want to say Husman Zada.
Oh, CJ Uzoma. Look, I'm a tight end guy. Clearly. So anyways, yeah. I like boring players to fill the roster.
Tight ends is one of the ones that will fall for me, but when you talk about boring players, that's one of the boring positions that people like to bring up all the time because there are only a couple of big names, like you said, and there's the guys that are going to go fucking fast. You could think top 5 right this season alone, 12-man league, top 5 rounds. There's probably 3 to 4 that are going to go.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what everybody is thinking about.
McBride, Bowers, Loveland, Warren, Fannin are going to go probably in the first 5 rounds.
But
Maybe
then
6.
you could also, because of the season that he had last year, because of I don't even want to say it. You know who I'm going to say too.
Don't Kyle Pitts me.
No, I was going to
Don't
say
make
Kelsey.
me draft him high.
I was going to say Kelsey.
Oh,
I was going to say you could probably, in some leagues, you could probably throw Kelsey back in that mix.
He'll probably fall too. He really will. He probably will fall because he's old. So people would be like, "Oh, is this the year that Travis Kelce drops off?" And it might be, but if it is the year that he drops off, drop him and pick somebody else up.
Oh, that got me. That one got me.
All right, so those are my fantasy cheat codes. You got any for us, Jeff, or should we go to break down our dynasty drafts?
So what I will say is, as far as a cheat code goes, if you're in, I'll talk wide receivers now. So if you're in a league, whether it's 8, 10, 12 man, doesn't matter. I'll use our 8-man league because we have the 3 wide receivers that we use.
4.
4, Jesus Christ. So you know what? I'll even say this. Doesn't even matter how many guys. If you're in a 3 or 4 wide receiver league and you're looking for that wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, and you're looking for somebody that is going to drop and might not be there high, may have changed teams, may not have changed teams, look for the older gentleman like Mike Evans, who just jumped to another team and is still looking very good and is always going to get 1,000 yards if he's healthy. You got to look for the guys that could drop in the draft for those a little bit later rounds. And by later rounds for me, I'm talking like the wide receivers that are going to drop to like round 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yep.
That's who you want to look for. The guys for that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 that are going to drop because people aren't normally thinking about them. And this year, the guy that I'm going to throw out there is going to be Mike Evans. And honestly, you know who else might drop that far? McLaurin.
Yeah.
He might drop to that, 6, 7, 8 more for him, but he was a little underwhelming last year, and that's because he didn't have his main quarterback.
He battled injuries and
coming back into the season this year, he's going to drop because he was kind of a ghost last year. But like same thing with Evans. Evans was hurt, but Evans is also old. But he's coming in with the 49ers now. So he's got Purdy there. Something could happen. There could be a little something there.
I'm actually upset that you like Terry McLaurin this year because he was a value that I was looking forward to taking.
No, I had him 2 seasons ago. I'm not going for him again.
2 seasons ago? What are you talking about? 2 seasons ago, he was a wide receiver 4. He was great.
Did I have him last year? When the fuck did I have him?
I don't remember, but that's what I'm saying. 2 years ago, he was wide receiver 4. That was Jaden's rookie year. He was the offense. No, you had him 2 years ago. You traded him though.
I was gonna say, who did I trade him?
You traded him to Sean for was it Tank Dell?
No way. Was that when
Tank Dell was the other way around? Off? Was it the other way around?
I got McLaurin. So you know what? We're gonna have to confer. We'll confer.
I'm gonna phone a friend. I think that you and Sean did a Tank Dell for Terry McLaurin swap, and I'm gonna figure out who got shafted and who won that trade. Stay tuned. But yes, it's a great piece.
I came in last that year, so I think we fucking know who got shafted. Fucking bullshit.
But yeah, take the values. It's a great example of like when a player falls too far, take them. You know, Devontae Adams is another one. I just did a mock draft. I took him like the 7th round or something. I'm like that's too much value.
If you want to talk about the tried and true, Keenan Allen was tried and true for over a decade.
Yeah, And he was completely written off on the Chargers last year. He led that team in targets. All right, let's break down our dynasty draft. We'll go through it pretty quick, but we'll talk about your draft first, and maybe some players that you passed on to take your guys. So at the 102, so second overall, you reached a little bit on Jadarian Price. We know Jadarian Price. He's electric.
Immediate RB1 on the Seahawks.
Yeah,
immediate RB1 on the Seahawks.
You took him over Mekhi Lemon, Omar Cooper Jr. Mekhi Lemon's really the only one that I think I probably would have taken Price too, but it's you took him over Jordan Tyson, you took him over Carnell Tate, Fernando Mendoza. Talk to me. Oh, I know why I wrote Omar Cooper Jr. You traded up to grab Price, and the two players that were taken were Mekhi Lemon and Omar Cooper Jr. I think good trade. Only time will tell. Talk to me about Jadarian Price.
About 2 months ago, in this league, 12-man league, 12-man dynasty league, we had a couple of guys drop out. And we needed it. What do we have? 3? We lost 3 and added 3?
Yep, that's right.
So we lost 3 and added 3. And when we were in the process of adding, I looked at you on this podcast and I said, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I need to do to move myself up into that position directly behind you and get that second pick so I can grab Price. You had first overall and you had 6th overall in the first round.
That's right.
I came in with 11th and 9th.
And 7th too, right? Yeah, you had 3.
Traded to get 7th.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first trade. Second trade was to move 2 of those and bump up a little bit. So I was like, God, I had
7 and 9.
I was 7 and 9. Yeah, so I had 9 and 11. Then I got 7 and 9. Moved from 7 and 9, bumped it all the way up to that second pick. And in the meantime, I still had my second round pick. Had 2/3.
You were loaded going into this draft with picks.
I was not upset with it, but the main thing that we're talking about is that second overall. I wanted to bump up because every year there's guys that I go high on. Last year, the guy that I went highest on was Scatterboot, clearly, but I also had Fannin right behind him. The year before that was BTJ. And every once in a while, I just so happened to hit on all 3 of those guys on the rookie seasons. Scatterboot got hurt, but he was on fire beforehand. This season, the guy coming in is Jadarian Price. And the reason why I'm so high on him is because granted, he got picked second in this fucking draft as well. So he's still in Love's shadow because Love got picked first. But he was in Jeremiah Love's shadow in Notre Dame. He's a great running back, a lot of skills, knows what he's doing when he gets the ball in his hands. They trusted him with the ball in his hands. They knew how good he was, and they gave him the amount of touches that he needed. But Love was their number 1 on the offense. Coming in and being an immediate RB1 as a rookie gives him on the Super Bowl winning fucking Seahawks. That gives him the possibility to prove to the entire world how much he's actually worth while Love is over there on the Cardinals being the tugboat that he needs to be.
Yeah, it's a great offensive environment, and it is a crap load of vacated carries between Ken Walker and going to the Chiefs and Charbonnet
being hurt.
Probably not being ready, probably not being full speed for the first 8 weeks, 10 weeks.
Easy. 8
yeah, if he's back earlier, he's limited. So, the opportunity is wide open. All right. Next on your list, 208, Zachariah Branch. We know you love Zachariah Branch. You took him over Malachi Fields, Nick Singleton, you got to feel happy with it. That's another one of your guys.
Well, it's not even so. We've said a million times on this podcast that you and I are the types of guys that are going to go after their guys, whether it be a redraft league or a dynasty league, and we're both. It's detrimental to us that we go after our guys in a dynasty league more so because that's who you want on your squad with you forever. But
Right.
now on the other side of that, you did a little thing to me, and what you said was you dropped a little note in my brain of you need to watch the fucking tapes that come out of camp. Watch those tapes. They're not wearing any gear. There's nothing on them, but they look good. Watch the tapes. Branch looks so fucking good in those tapes that it's hard to not want to take him. I took him high. I took him high. I took him like 4 or 5 picks high.
That's about the range because I was considering him at 206 before I traded down. I wanted you to get your guy, and
it's hard not to. Oh my god, it's really. And I mean he's a dog. Go Dogs. So you got it.
He's a fun shiny toy. He's the fastest human you've ever seen. You know what I mean? He is like Tyreek Hill speed. So
yes,
so
he's a quick boy.
He's shiny. He's fun. It's like he's a great what if. It's like what if he is what we think he is with this speed, and he might be. Because I'm seeing him burn people deep. I'm seeing him cut over the middle. I'm seeing him catch screens in practice. Like I always say, no pads. But my God, does it look like he could do everything?
Hey man, hands are and no pads, but hands are hands. You know what I mean? Like that's if your boy's got some hands, that's. I mean, there's another guy not on my list, but there's another guy overall that's between you and me. I mean, you got him in the first round with your 6th overall. The tape on this motherfucker, he looks so fresh and so clean when he's out there, dude.
Jordan Tyson is who we're talking about.
He looks so fucking good, and
I was honestly,
I feel like a dad getting all excited over just sitting here watching practices, being like, "God, that's my boy right there." Like
I was honestly flabbergasted. He fell to me at 106. Jordan Tyson. So I drafted Jeremiah Love.
Somebody was going to fall to you at the 6th because of where I took Price. So
yeah, I just thought it was going to be Lemon. So Kenyon Sadiq got picked ahead of me. So I had a little bit of a. I took a second. I took maybe 5 seconds of real time to make this pick, where I looked at Tyson and I said, "Is he injury prone like everybody says? Should I take Lemon, who seems safer?" And then I watched like one clip of his college tape on Twitter, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is insane.
Yeah,
so
good.
He's so good.
So where'd Lemon go? Did Lemon go at 7?
Lemon went at 7.
Oh my God.
Which is I mean, should be top 6 in every single draft. I mean, he's but it is what it is. Kenyon Sadiq went high, and Jamie got his value at 7, so it worked out for him. We'll run through your next 4 picks real quick. Ted Hurst, he's Georgia State. He went to the Bucks. Crowded wide receiver room. Garrett Nussmeier.
Well, crowded, but they're pushing him up, looking like he's a possible wide receiver 3 already.
Yeah, I worry though because. So you look at that room. It's like Buka, who should be the number 1 unquestioned.
Correct.
It's Chris Godwin.
Godwin at 2.
But he should be gone within a year or 2. So okay. And then it's Tez Johnson, who is a specialist deep threat.
And McMillan.
And McMillan, who looks like a pretty full package. So I worry about those targets. Can he beat out McMillan and Tez? He's going to have to if he's going to be relevant.
I agree. I mean, I think beating out. I think the real thing that you need to think about. Sorry, my wife just sent me some sneak peeks of our wedding photos, so I'm getting a little. A little giddy here, but Shit. I just got lost. Oh my God, Jackie. I just got
Wow,
lost.
my man's in love. My man's in love.
So we give it to me again. You got to give it to me again. Give it to me again.
Ted Hurst. He's got to beat out Tez Johnson. He's
Oh,
got to
so
beat it.
Ted's all right. So Ted, have you seen any tape on Ted Hurst yet?
No, very little. I see
All
that
right.
he's
So
good downfield. That's
watch a
just
little
about all I've
tape.
seen.
He's dangerous downfield, but so is Tez Johnson. Here's the thing that I feel about Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson is good downfield, but when it's close quarters, we're talking like a screen or a slant. I don't think he's your man. I do think McMillan is your man, and I do think the race for wide receiver 3 is between McMillan and Hurst because their talent kind of matches up a lot closer. Tez Johnson is like Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver in the NBA got used as a fucking 3-point specialist because that's what he was. That was his position. That was where he was used. If you needed somebody in a tight spot, Kyle Korver was the guy to get you there. Tez Johnson is your man downfield. He proved it last year. So keeping him at that wide receiver 4, it's not a diss to put him there because you're going to use him in those positions.
The only reason I say that as a problem, is because Baker's going to throw the ball 40 yards downfield maybe 5 times a game, like every other quarterback, maybe 4 times a game. I just want those 4 or 5 deep targets to be split between Egbuka and Hurst, not Tez Johnson, Egbuka, and Hurst. So if you're going to get 3 40-yard targets versus 1, that's a big difference to me because 1 40-yard touchdown, that's a fantasy week. That's okay. That is, I feel good with that in my flex. So that's the only. I don't think Tez Johnson is going to overtake him, but I think Ted Hurst has to take that deep shot role from him to get relevance this year.
I just don't want him to get stuck there.
Absolutely. So next on your list, you got Nussmeier, LSU guy, landed on the Chiefs. That's a great landing spot. Kevin Coleman, who you dropped already. Congratulations.
Wanted to keep Lance.
That's fair. Oscar Delp and Bryce Lance. So sounds like you want to talk about Lance.
Well, Lance he's the underdog. He's the guy that, I mean, he stayed where he was. He didn't go to any of the big name schools when he could have. He was FCS, not FBS.
He's a burner, very fast.
He's got a good head on his shoulders. His older brother Trey Lance went 3rd pick overall.
Yeah, to the 49ers. They traded up, and we know how that went.
Exactly. So when you've got a good head on your shoulders and you've got a brother who had what happened to him, you got somebody that's already there in your corner explaining to you how to kind of divvy your way through certain situations. And he stayed in the FCS, and he fucking did great. He was a great FCS college cornerback. Oh my God, wide receiver. And I watched him. He did well in the fucking draft. When I saw him get picked, you and I were there. Holy fuck. That's Trey Lance's brother.
Yeah, right.
Holy fuck. Trey Lance's brother just got picked. I'm going high on him. I will stay high on him all year because it's a dynasty league. So if he fucking stays on the taxi squad, then that's where he stays. But I will be high on him all year because put it in here now. Here's my fucking dad take on this one. 2 or 3 years, he's getting 800 to 1,200 yards.
Wow. Okay. So I went 101. I drafted Jeremiah Love. We know who he is. Yes, at 106, I took that great value on Jordan Tyson. Couldn't pass it up. I had the 206. I traded out of it because I really wanted Antonio Williams, and I threw a little hissy fit. And when he went before me, I said, "Get this pick out of my fucking face."
Oh, I got that. I got that text.
Yeah, I was pissed. And then in the 4th round, I grabbed Kalen Black, who should be CMC's backup, and we both think CMC may get hurt. That's basically the only thing I like about him. And he was drafted in the 3rd round. So those are the 2 things I like about Kalen
And
Black.
you got him in the 4th.
I got him in the 4th. I got him at 401, which is a great value.
There is some value there. Yeah, that's definitely a good value.
There's a very high chance that if CMC stays healthy, he's never fantasy relevant. But I'll take the handcuff for a year. I'll keep him on my taxi squad. Next, I grabbed Caleb Douglas, who I don't understand why he fell the way he did, because I have some stats on the Dolphins receivers.
It's because he's in the Dolphins. Nobody trusts him.
Okay, but Caleb, what's his name? Chris Bell was drafted in the 1st round of our dynasty draft. Chris Bell is on the Dolphins and was drafted after Caleb Douglas by the Dolphins. So Chris Bell was drafted in the 3rd round, 94th pick overall. Alex, Dolphins fan. But Caleb Douglas drafted.
Who's been in dead last the first 2 seasons in this league?
Alex. So, anyways, 3rd round draft capital.
Say less, Jack. Say less.
I think that value is insane. Even on the Dolphins, I'll take it every day. And
I'll say this one thing about Dolphins this year: very young wide receivers,
insanely young. They're wide receiving core,
and they're all talented. That's the thing. Yeah. They're talented.
They got Malik Washington, who's the only carryover from last year. He's a screen guy. He's not going to be a wide receiver 1 on any team. They got Chris Bell, who very talented, tore his ACL. They got Caleb Douglas, who's kind of a Alex Pierce. They got Kevin Coleman, who they drafted in the 5th round, who's like Tank Dell.
Yep.
And Theo Rice, who's undrafted, who's kind of like the big body do it all. So somebody's gonna be fantasy relevant. Somebody's gonna be fantasy relevant.
There's gonna be somebody that takes off on that team.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to rapid fire these predictions because we are way over time.
Way over time.
All right. Which rookie wide receiver finishes with the most receiving yards? Let's hear it. Lemon. Okay. I have Jordan Tyson. My gut told me Carnell Tate, but my stats told me Jordan Tyson.
My gut told me fucking Tate too, but my head is telling me Lemon because
they just opportunity.
They lost the big man, and now they've got another one that's got to step up. So he's right place, right time. Next.
Yep. Team with the biggest win total improvement. I'm doing Bengals, even though we shit talked them earlier. They had 6 wins last year. I'm going to say they got 10 this year. I also have the Chiefs going from 6 to 10, but Mahomes, I don't know what he's going to look like. So
were you only allowed to choose from these 3?
I gave you 3 because they're the 3 obvious ones. Bengals had 6 wins, Chiefs had 6 wins, Titans had 3. If there's somebody else you want to go for, rock and roll, brother.
What Giants have last year? 6?
They had let's see. They had 4.
4-9.
4-9. All right. And then finally, NFC North standings. I got the Bears repeating with 11 wins. I got
12.
Lions with Bears 12 for you. I got Lions with 10.
10.
All right. I got Packers with 8.
10.
Oh, and I got Vikings with 8 also.
8.
So you're high on this division as a whole.
Yeah, this division, I'm on the up and up with these guys because Jordan, I'm Packers. Those 2 wins over you have Packers at 8. I have Packers at 10. I have Packers at 10. Jordan Love is the reason for those 2 other wins.
Yeah, I have Packers at 8. I'll bump them up if I see them add answers to their running back room. But if Josh Jacobs is in there and they're rolling out Marshawn Lloyd and what's his name, Evans or whatever their backup is named, not a ton of faith. All right, well that will do it for this episode of Dynasty Fantasy Dad Duo. We went way over time as usual.
Yeah, it's
Peace out.
hot air, baby, hot air.